Hello and welcome to the paddle training videos. My name's Ken Walker, and in this video we're going to do an overview of the query types that are available within paddle. I'll just open up one of the libraries here, the biosecurity. In all libraries we have the same structure in that there's a text, the ability to put in a direct text query. Now interestingly, you can begin with all fields, but if you put the drop box down here, open the drop box up, you'll see that indeed you can query on scientific name or taxonomy or common name or a wide range of the different facets that have been made for this library. So as I said, you can query on them there. Additionally, you can add more direct query terms by simply clicking this add button here, and it will give you open up another box. And again, you can make a selection, and you can make as many of these as you like. And indeed, let's just add a third one. So you could have, for example, up in the top field here, put in lictus as a generic name, and say, well, I want to have a look at it in the scientific name. And then you might have said, well, I want to have a look at timber, and put in choose down here a commodity type, and down here you might have said from Southeast Asia, and I'm going to put that in down here in the distribution. So then you can make a search, and you can make a search on each one of them there. So that's the text query. Classification query, it will show you all of the top level classification available for all species in the database. Now that may be an order level, in some cases it may be a phylum level, in other cases it may be a class level or a subclass. It's the top classification that's available to you. Now interestingly, if we go down to, we'll start with, we'll do Coleoptera as give you some nice bit of depth there. There's 526 species of Coleoptera. As we go through Ask Coleoptera, it will now provide us with the next level of classification, which in this case we're beginning with an order, so it will provide us with the families that occur within the Coleoptera. Then if we go down to say a family level and we click on that and the Bostrichidae, it will give us any subfamilies that we may have recorded for that family. And we might look down here at the Bostrichinae, and it will show us any tribes that we have listed for that subfamily. So as you can see, we have the order level, the family level, the subfamily level, and now we have the tribe level. And all the time down the bottom, it shows you the product, the number of species that were available to each return. So our last query before we went into the tribes was indeed the subfamily, which had 41 species. Okay, well I'm going to get rid of those queries and start a new search. And as you can see here, we've now got to the facets. So we've had a look at the direct search, we've had a look at the classification search. Now down on the facets, we have a range of them: commodity overview, commodity type, distribution, group, and status. These facets will change between each individual library, but there will always be a text query, always be a classification query, and always be a facet query. Again, have a look at the facets and it will tell you the number of species that are available per variable within the facet. And remember all the time that every time you choose any facet, whether it be classification or direct search or down here, then all other facets are updated. So let's just say, for example, on berries. I have something that's come in on berries, and I'm keen to know what paddle has recorded or makes available for berries. Let's have a look over here. You can see ants and bacteria and bees and beetles, and up here you can see a whole range. So let's see what comes up, and we know there's only going to be 55 species that are returned. So watch how this is all upgraded. So we're down to 55, and we have now a much reduced classification. We also have a much reduced commodity and distribution and group. So you can choose any facet you like and begin anywhere and it will then take you on an exploration path. So we've chosen berries, as is down here, and we've got something coming out of Africa. So of the 55 species there, let's choose something on Africa. Notice over here we can say that we've got berries out of Africa, and there's 1 bacteria, 4 beetles, 3 bugs, 1 fly, 1 fungus. So let's go to the beetles now, for example, and we'll click on that. And now notice how there are no more different groups because we've chosen on beetles, but we're now down to the distribution from Africa, and of these 4 species, all 4 also occur in Australia, 4 of them also occur in Central and South America, 2 occur in Europe and Northern Asia. So it's a wonderful way of being able to explore and navigate as you go through. I'll start a new search and we'll show you one other item in the facets. Okay, we've had a look at the text, the classification, the facets. So let's here is now where we have keys. Various keys have been developed, and if you put your mouse onto it here and open up, you'll get the array that's available. There are sericids and termites, looking at the family key, or soldiers or imagoes. Down here there are fruit flies we've begun to do, there are scolotines that we've done, and if you choose any of these, it will go through the database, bring out just the species relating to that key, and produce you a series of facets with characters for the key. Okay, so here we are with the termites. We have the key of the family, the Circe for the soldiers, or dry or damp wood termites, or the fontanelle, or the head ocelli. And below are the 30 different types of species associated with the families. Now, remember, everything in Paddle is faceted searching, so we have 30 families here without having any other type of facet. Let's go back and do a distribution facet and see how it will dynamically update the key to your previous query. So if we go into the facet, and let's open up a facet, and let's look at a distribution. So let's go on down to US and Canada. So here's our first query. There are 422 species that are associated in Paddle to the US and Canada. Okay, now I'm going to open the keys up, and we've made a query on the USA and Canada. So when I open the key up this time, when I go down to the family, you'll see that the family key has only got 5 species. There's only 5 families of termites that we have on Paddle that come out recorded as coming out of USA and Canada. So that shows you how with faceted searching the keys are dynamically updated to whatever previous queries you've made. You can begin with the key itself, or you can do other queries and then come on down to the key and have it dynamically updated. And there they are. So here are 5 families of termites that come out of the US, and there's the characters along there. Okay, I've now moved into the Barrow Island library, and with the Barrow Island library there were specimen records that have been added to each species, in other words the individual collection dates for each of them. That then allows us to be able to make a spatial search. Notice that the search by map wasn't available in the Australian Biosecurity. Now the map is a live Google Maps that we can move around, and because we're on Barrow Island, we'll move up to Barrow Island itself. And so here we are now on Barrow Island, and if you click this little red box here, it will put on there a user-defined spatial bounding box. You can move it around, and you can also resize it to whatever you'd like. Now let's say, for example, we were interested in the species that have been collected around the island, which is in the southeast corner of the island. Notice below here that as I move the box, it tracks the 4 corners of the bounding box. So what I can do now is on a live Google Maps make a query for whatever specimens and obviously their species have been collected in the southeast corner around the island, and then make a query down there. And you can see here that the map has now been enlarged to show you a better area or view of where you were querying, and it's brought back 196 species from within the spatial search.